Shannon Martin. Tonight, a complex investigation underway after a car and OPP cruiser somehow collide. It started with a speeding car on Highway 401 and ended in a fiery crash in a North York neighborhood, leaving a 17-year-old boy with serious injuries. What we know at this hour, plus.
It's an incredible, it's a real humanitarian crisis right now.
The Ontario Pakistani community comes together offering support and help to the people in their home country devastated by unprecedented flooding.
Can't wait to see the F-35. Definitely F-35.
Yeah. I also want to see the F-35.
A common draw, the Canadian International Air Show is back, bringing high-flying thrills with one longtime fan favorite missing. We'll show you the other star attraction.
This is CBC Saturday News.
Hello, thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a crash involving an OPP cruiser that's left a 17-year-old boy with serious injuries. The province's police watchdog is now investigating. Let's go through what we know at this hour. It happened early this morning in North York when a car and OPP cruiser somehow collided. A York Regional Police helicopter first observed a Honda Accord driving westbound on Highway 401 at a high rate of speed. The Special Investigations Unit says the car got off at Meadowvale and Dean Park Road, southwest of Pickering, making a stop at a convenience store. A York police officer arrived and the Accord took off. The SIU says that's when the OPP got involved and tried to stop the car, but the Accord exited the highway onto Avenue Road. A short time later, near Tresilian Road and Bombay Avenue in North York, the cruiser and Honda crashed. A 17-year-old who was one of 4 people inside the car fled the scene on foot. He was found in medical distress shortly after and taken to hospital. The 3 other people in the car were arrested. No one suffered any serious injuries. Much more to come on that one. We'll bring you more as we learn it. Meantime, a man is in life-threatening condition after he was hit by a car in Midtown near Yonge and St. Clair. The driver took off but has since been arrested. Toronto police say they were called to the area just before noon. Emergency crews still on scene, so St. Clair is closed for the time being. A vigil is planned tonight in Barrie for the 6 young people who died in a car accident last weekend. In less than 2 hours' time, family, friends, and people from the community are expected to gather to honor the young lives lost. 6 young people, all in their 20s, died when their vehicle crashed into a concrete construction pit. They had been reported missing earlier in the evening. We'll have more on the candlelight vigil later tonight on our website. People in Toronto keeping their eyes on the sky for the return of the Canadian International Air Show. Our Tyler Cheese spent the day in the crowd looking way up. As he shows us, this year's program was down 1 star performer, but there was another aircraft people couldn't wait to see.
These are just some of the high-flying acts that people have come to see at the 73rd Annual Canadian International Air Show. It's the largest and longest continuously running air show in North America. People from all over come to watch this jaw-dropping spectacle, like this family in town from Ottawa.
We've just always loved anything aviation. I used to take the kids to the airport just to watch planes take off.
For some, it's become a tradition.
Yeah, I've been coming when I was a kid, and I love coming with my kids now.
The pilots make it look easy, but there are a ton of people behind the scenes making sure that it all runs smoothly.
So we have 150 amazing volunteers. There's only 1 employee, that's me, but I've got an amazing management team that works voluntarily all year long planning this. We really start planning next year's show next week.
Airshow mainstay the Snowbirds are not able to perform this year due to a flight safety investigation after an accident in BC last month. But there's another aircraft that has everyone talking.
I can't wait to see the F-35. Definitely F-35.
I also want to see the F-35.
This sleek stealth fighter jet is used by the Canadian and U.S. Air Forces, and This year, it's the headliner.
I'm blessed to get to fly it almost every day. What makes it special is a number of things. First and foremost, it's stealth capability, right? So it makes it very difficult for our opponents to see us with the shape of the airplane and its stealth technology. It has an amazing array of sensors in the airplane. All that tactical information is given to me in my helmet.
You can sense the excitement down here in the exclusive watching zone. It's the best place to catch the action, but organizers say you can see the show for free all the way from Ontario Place to Humber Bay.
Our goal here is to inspire youth to look at aerospace opportunities for themselves. We're always keeping in mind how we can continue to get those kids excited and put this dream in their eyes as well.
It's not too late to check out these death-defying maneuvers in person. The air show is on for the rest of the long weekend. Tyler Cheese, CBC News, Toronto.
Our friend Sophia is back with us tonight. Tyler was saying, excuse me, excuse me, Try, take it away.
Had eyes to the skies for different reasons there, Shannon. Yeah, I know that you're a fan of the snowbirds. You've been up in the air with them before, and anybody going will have to have eyes to the sky for a few different reasons. It's the kind of long weekend that's not going to be a washout by any means, but you may have to run and duck for cover a couple times. Sure starts off pretty hot and humid, and we are watching, actually, skyward around the Brampton, Milton, even Pickering area for some pop-up storms that came up in the last hour or so. So any of those weekend barbecues may have had some covering over the past little while. Could move into the downtown core if you're headed out to the CNE grounds. Will continue to be pretty hot and humid, feeling like 33 for the evening hours. The risk continues as we head into Sunday. It's how the cookie crumbles of this front that will be creeping southwards. It will do a lot, though, to wring out all of the humidity. Sunday looks like a mostly cloudy day. Some showers and some pop-up storms could come into play as well, but what a temperature difference you will feel if you don't like the humidity for summer's last hurrah. Well, you're back down to seasonal, feeling just like 24 for Sunday. Monday is a story of more clearing. We'll feel just like 27, and you might even crack out a little bit of sun. Not the kind of weekend there, Shannon, where we're going to get a tan anytime soon. Might be one to clear out the cottage instead.
Okay, good advice. Thanks, Sophia.
You're welcome. I'll have the back to school forecast in long range.
Well, that's what we're talking about next. September is here. Another sign back to school is around the corner. It was move-in day at George Brown College.
Excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
Very sad, because he's my only child.
So she's pretty self-sufficient, and I'm not worried at all about her. Well, a little bit. What about you? How are you?
To stay safe, make smart choices, and just keep being herself.
After 2 years of remote learning, more than 500 students making their way into residence in downtown Toronto today, armed with their belongings, school supplies, and perhaps a mix of nerves and excitement. For many, it's their first time living away from home. Classes begin Tuesday, September 6th. Ontario's Pakistani community is coming together, finding ways to support and get help on the ground to the people in their home country as unprecedented flooding continues. Meg Roberts shows us some of the efforts underway.
The 19th Annual Muslim Festival in Mississauga, a time for fun and celebration. But this year, there's also a sense of sorrow and also urgency, as monsoon rains have submerged a third of Pakistan.
It's gut-wrenching to think about it.
The rains have claimed more than 1,200 lives since June. Powerful floods have impacted 3.3 million people and washed away swaths of vital crops.
They are scared because of the kids. If they are not getting enough food or money, they cannot survive in these things.
Ismara Imran's family, still in Pakistan, is living in fear. On top of serving food from her restaurant at the festival, she's also encouraging people to donate. She's sending the money directly back to her family and others.
It's really feel bad. I can't even imagine how they are surviving.
7 different charitable organizations are at the festival trying to raise funds. Human Concern International is a group that provides support to people living in poverty. Festival goers were able to buy tents, food packages, and other goods at their stand.
Honestly, my heart just right now, it's just like, I want to do whatever I can to support our Pakistan and all those who are suffering right now. So, yeah, we'll try to limit the shopping and donate as much as we can.
The festival also offers an opportunity for people to pray together, with some saying their hearts and minds will be with those stranded in parts of Pakistan.
After prayer, we would definitely make our supplication for people of Pakistan, for sure. That is definitely what we want to do. We want to raise awareness. We want people to keep Pakistan in their prayers.
Most of the organizations and vendors here today are asking for financial donations. That's because with all the flooding in Pakistan, it's making it challenging to send packages. Meg Roberts, CBC News, Mississauga.
To Russia next, where one of the political giants of the 20th century was laid to rest. Thousands saying farewell to Mikhail Gorbachev, the last leader of the Soviet Union. It was not a full state funeral. Vladimir Putin didn't attend. Gorbachev presided over the end of the Cold War with the West and introduced new freedoms to the Soviet system. He died Tuesday at the age of 91. Welcome back. We continue tracking that explosion at an oil refinery in Newfoundland. Yesterday's blast sent 8 people to hospital, 3 seriously injured. Peter Cowan with the latest tonight.
The company that runs the refinery now says it was a flash fire on site late yesterday afternoon that sent 8 people to hospital. Brea Fuel says it's still investigating how that fire happened. 5 of the workers were airlifted to the Health Sciences Centre in St. John's. 2 more are in a hospital in nearby Clarenville, and 1 has been released. This refinery is a big employer in the area, but it's also more like a big family. When he heard the news, the local MP immediately thought about his own friends and family that work there.
Well, you know, it's something that affects everybody directly. And when you're in a small community, you're bound to know a lot of the people involved directly. And so your family and friends that actually work in the facility, the first thing come to mind, are they okay?
The refinery almost shut down 2 years ago until it found a buyer. Now it's going through a $400 million refit. Instead of crude oil, it'll process vegetable oil, turning it into biodiesel and sustainable jet fuel, creating sustainable jobs in the area. People on the job site are close, and that makes something like this even harder, says the local provincial politician.
Being able to hug your loved one that comes home each evening is very important. And, you know, like when you're on the job, and especially a big project like this, you know, your guys that you work with or girls that you work with, or women that you work with, I should say, are, you know, your work family.
RCMP officers, along with provincial health and safety inspectors, are at the refinery figuring out why this fire happened. That's an answer the workers, their family, and the community want answered to try and make sure it doesn't happen again. Peter Cowan, CBC News, Ottawa.
For the second time in under a week, NASA is delaying the launch of one of its most anticipated space missions due to technical failures. A hydrogen leak aboard the Artemis 1 moon rocket, just the latest source of trouble.
We do not launch until we think it's right. And these teams have labored over that, and that is the conclusion that they came to.
The unmanned rocket was initially supposed to launch on Monday, but an earlier hydrogen leak put a stop to that. The next opportunity to launch will be September 19th. If the space agency isn't ready then, NASA will likely have to wait until October. The program's goal is to lay the foundations for a long-term presence on the lunar surface and eventually Mars. The Artemis mission has been delayed for years and gone billions of dollars over budget. Well, still in the U.S., a pilot who circled above a small city in Mississippi for hours is now facing terrorism charges after threatening to crash a plane into a Walmart. Neil Herland with the details.
The police chief in Tupelo, Mississippi, held a news conference this afternoon, and we learned new details about the suspect and the scary moments that sparked fears of a 9/11 style attack in Mississippi today, with a pilot threatening to crash his plane into a building. First, let's start with the police chief outlining the sequence of events.
At 5:08 a.m. this morning, Corey Wayne Patterson stole a Beechcraft King Air C-90 twin-engine aircraft and took off from the Tupelo airport today. We do know Patterson has some flight instruction. We do not believe he is a licensed pilot. That is still ongoing to discover that.
We're also told the tower was not staffed when the plane took off. Police then got a chilling call from the pilot that included a threat to the community. Let's have a listen.
At approximately 5:23 a.m., Patterson from the aircraft calls Lee County 911 to tell them that he is going to crash this aircraft into the West Main Walmart in Tupelo, Mississippi. Soon thereafter, Tupelo Police Department and Fire Department evacuated West Main Walmart in Tupelo and all the surrounding areas.
Now, what happened next was an ordeal that lasted 4 hours. At one point, authorities say the suspect was given assistance to try to help land the aircraft, with a pilot communicating with him on the ground. The suspect was close to landing the plane, but for some reason, he decided to abort the landing. Radar from this morning shows the plane flying in a zigzag pattern. Authorities say eventually the suspect landed the plane in a field in rural Mississippi. He was arrested by police. Corey Wayne Patterson is now charged with grand larceny and making terrorist threats. Local police expect the suspect will be charged with additional federal crimes in the U.S.
Neil Herlin reporting for us. Well, the greatest of all time, career tennis superstar Serena Williams' career appears to be over, her on-court one, after her defeat last night in the U.S. Open. Okay, here is a live look at Toronto now as we head into a short commercial break. 24 degrees, little cloudy in the city. A chance we could see some rain tonight. Sophia is back with your full forecast, looking ahead to back to school. We're back in. If you were anywhere near Nathan Phillips Square today, you may have caught this. The Black Men's Wear flash mob decked out in their best attire, all in an effort to tackle stereotypes and support each other in the Black community.
We have these flash mobs around the world as a way for us to show unity, show community, show uplift, show community impact with proper visual representation of who we are as a community.
The event brought people young and old showing off their suits and shoes and getting the attention of many passing by.
Oh my goodness, they know how to dress. They got style and class, man. So.
But it's all about feeling good and feeling confident.
I'm so delighted at this project to bring out these handsome Black men and show them off looking their best.
The event has happened in big cities around the world. The organizer adds he wants to create community and inspire the next generation. It is Saturday night, date night for a lot of people. Perfect time to catch a movie, and Cineplex is making that easier for people tonight on what is known as National Cinema Day.
We got popcorn, some pops and candies, and the happiness of coming to the movies.
And every time you talk to a guest, they're wowed and welcome, and the big thing that comes out is what? $3? Like, that's something that unheard of.
Movies, including IMAX and VIP tickets, are just $3. Cineplex says some of its movies that are doing really well today are Top Gun Maverick, Spider-Man No Way Home, and for the kids, Minions. Okay,
I think we should go.
Back. I want to go to Minions with you, yes, and your kids. Before I so rudely had an asthmatic cough in your face.
Oh, I wish I could have helped you out there.
Well, you did, but I wanted to ask how your summer's been, because we've missed you and you're back now and it's September already.
Reunited and it feels so good.
Yes.
It's been great. We have caught up on the rain as far as the garden front goes. The last time we talked, things were rather dry, but August's totals have bounded back up and we have missed catching up with you all. But we get this last weekend, Shannon, for a big last hurrah with you all. And for some of you may want to go into the movie theaters and catch up on the inside vibes, because the outside could be a little stormy. But the back to school forecast is going to be a blockbuster. I hear all the groans there from all the kids, but really, what more can you ask for? Bright sunny skies for the week ahead, the mid-20s, feeling like the low 30s, not only in Toronto, but in the nation's capital region and in Windsor as well. So it'll be lovely for the kids going back to school after a weekend where many plans had to be very changeable. There will even be a second last hurrah to summer late week next week, where the feels like and the humidity will again be into the mid-30s. So yeah, great long weekend ahead. We're getting the rain out of the way now with a few pop-up storms. Could put a damper on some of your long weekend plans, but generally clearing throughout the long weekend. Cloudy and cool though for Sunday and Monday. You may even squeak out one last big sunset on the last long weekend of summer. Murphy's Law, they got rain on a long weekend though.
I know, I really cannot believe it. And if you're downtown tonight, the CN Tower will light up in celebration of the CNE. The last hurrah of summer, can't believe it.
It was a pleasure to spend it with you, Shannon.
Nice to see you. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Well, finally tonight, some very delicate work is being conducted in France to restore some beautiful and priceless works of art. In 2019, you'll remember fire devastated the historic Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Well, much was lost. Most of the beautiful stained glass windows survived, thank goodness. Painstaking work continues by master glassmakers to restore those windows to their original glory. They're using a mix of water and ethanol to clean them. It's hoped to reopen in 2024. Well, that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to take you now to the CNE before we go and have a look at one of summer's favorite traditions. Yes, the final weekend of the X always feels like the last hurrah of summer. The CNE, though, says it's currently tracking a 10% boost in attendance compared to 2019. Final numbers will take a few weeks to tally, but organizers say they're confident it could hit 1.5 million. Well, that's it for us. We'll see you again tomorrow night at 11.